literally just ran through all these questions and I did not press the record button. So here we go. Let's try this again. I'm just going to go through a list of like powerful questions that I go through in a typical coaching session. So maybe just like imagine we're doing a coaching session together. And yeah, you pick the topic. I obviously won't hear the answers, but maybe the sequence of questions will get you thinking, and maybe, who knows, you'll get like a little flavor of what it's like to be a coachee. So let's just dive in. So you've just walked into the coaching session. Let's see, what am I going to ask you? So what's occurred since the last time we spoke? What would you like to talk about? What's new? What's the latest? What's the update? How was your week? Where are you right now? And then maybe you're like talking and I'm going to want some elaboration. So maybe I'll ask something like, can you tell me more? What else? What other ideas, thoughts, or feelings do you have about it? What do you mean? What do you want? Can you say more? What is the part that is not clear yet? What does it feel like? What are the possibilities? If you had your choice, what would you do? What are possible solutions? What will happen if you do? And what will happen if you don't? What options can you create? What if it works out exactly the way you want it to? What's the dream? What is exciting to you about this? What's the urge? What does your intuition tell you about this? What's the opportunity here? What is the challenge? How does this fit with your plans? How does this fit with your way of life? How does this fit with your values? What do you think that means? What's your assessment? If you could do it over again, what would you do differently? If it had been you, what would you have done? How else could a person handle this? If you could do anything you wanted, what would you do? What do you make of it? What resonates with you? How do you feel about it? How does it look to you? What do you think is best? What is here that you want to explore? What part of this have you not explored yet? What are some other angles you can think of? What's just one more possibility? What are your other options? When you're 95 years old, what will you want to say about your life? What will you think about this 5 years from now? How does this relate to your life purpose? In the bigger scheme of things, how is this important? So what? How do you suppose it'll all work out? What will you get? What will that lead to? What are the chances of success? What is your prediction? What are the resources you need to help you decide? What do you know about it now? How do you suppose you can find out more about it? What kind of picture do you have right now? What will you take away from this? How do you explain this to yourself? What was the lesson? How can you make sure you remember what you've learned? How will you put all this together? If your life depended on you taking action, what would you do? If you had free choice in the matter, what would you do? If the same thing occurred again, what would you do? If we could wipe the slate clean, what would you do? If you had to do it over again, what would you do? What do you want? What is your desired outcome? If you got it, what would you have? How will you know you've reached it? What would it look like? What do you plan to do about it? What's your game plan? What kind of plan do you need to create? How do you suppose you can improve the situation? Now what? What action will you take? And after that, what will you do? When? Is this a time for action? What action? Where do we go from here? When will you do that? What are your next steps? By what date will you complete these steps? What will you take away from all this? All right, well, those are some of my favorite questions. This one's kind of a goofy video, but whatever. If you have a question you think I could use when I'm coaching that's really provocative, I'd love to hear it. Go ahead and drop it in the comment section below. If you liked what I put up here, like it. If you want to see more of it, subscribe it. But I wish you prosperity and abundance in all things. And I'll see you next time. Bye.